Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, the world's largest cheat distributor got busted. The mid-season Call of Duty update is live, Valve might be working on a new Half-Life game, and much more. Tencent worked with Chinese police to take down one of the biggest cheat distributors in the world. The operation was reportedly making $10,000 a day and was valued at over $760 million in total revenue. The bust seized $46 million in assets and is the single largest bust of any cheat distributor ever. It's led to the shutdown of 17 websites and 10 arrests so far. One of the operation's owners had a garage of exotic cars that were seized in the raid. On top of the exotic cars, the people running the operation were also invested in cryptocurrency and real estate. It sounds like they lived quite a luxurious lifestyle off of their earnings. Police spent a year investigating the cheat distributor before making the bust. The investigation and eventual bust was a joint effort between Tencent and the police. On top of being the world's largest tech company, Tencent owns and operates WeChat, which is China's all-in-one messaging, online banking, and social network app. They have access to an obscene amount of user information. It likely played a vital role in the police tracking down the individuals behind the cheat distribution operation. Tencent also makes and publishes many of the games this cheat distributor targeted, though that's not really saying much considering Tencent are behind most popular mobile games. It's really tough to put into words just how massive a problem cheating in video games actually is. The notion that a cheat distributor alone is worth nearly $1 billion is completely insane. We often complain about cheaters ruining games or game developers not preventing cheating, but when you consider just how massive cheating operations can be, it starts to make sense. Combating a billion-dollar company is no small feat, especially when they have dozens of developers working around the clock, potentially targeting hundreds of games at once. The mid-season update for Call of Duty Warzone and Cold War is live and brings some welcome changes to both games. Probably the most notable one is the file size for Warzone and Modern Warfare were reduced. Warzone's file size has been reduced by 30 gigabytes and Modern Warfare is down 10 gigabytes. Considering both games' combined footprint is over 200 gigabytes with everything installed, the size reduction isn't exactly life-changing, but it's still good to see some optimization is being done. As for new content, balance updates, and bug fixes, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like any weapon tuning or new content was added to Warzone. The entire patch is dedicated to improving the balance and stability of Cold War. To that end, it sounds like Treyarch have done a pretty decent job. The new maps are also pretty solid. Treyarch reworked Miami to fit 6v6 modes and cleaned it up visually. The new multiplayer map Golova supports up to 40 players and is a pretty solid addition as well. Outbreak mode has also been expanded with a nighttime variant of Sanatorium. Call of Duty 2021 news is also picking up. We previously learned the game returns to the World War II era and will be developed by Sledgehammer Games. Now rumors are suggesting it'll utilize Modern Warfare's engine. To be clear, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and Raven Software all use modified versions of the same engine with specific tweaks to suit their individual workflows. They're all using the same core technology, so saying X game is using Y's engine doesn't mean a whole lot. Overall, it's clear Season 2 won't be the massive influx of amazing updates and content Warzone players were hoping for. Activision are teasing big things for Season 3. The Zombies outbreak, though underwhelming now, is building on something significant. Hopefully that means a new Warzone map is on the way in April. That massive update for Cyberpunk 2077 went live yesterday evening. While there are still plenty of issues left to resolve, the overall consensus is very positive. Many of the egregious problems like bugs that block progress or visual distraction have been fixed. There's also many more minor improvements like V's sleeping position being fixed that adds to the game's overall polish. Console players in particular are seeing significant improvements to performance and visual quality. The average frame rate on the base model last-gen consoles doesn't seem to have gone up much, but users are reporting smoother handling. That probably means the 1.2 update fixed frame time issues on the consoles. But it sounds like PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, and next-gen console owners are seeing some significant gains to FPS in action sequences and while driving. The primary constraint on consoles also seems to be the mechanical hard drives. Players with SSDs in their consoles are still getting a smoother overall experience. CD Projekt Red have also announced a revamp of their entire company. They're expanding to better support the Witcher and Cyberpunk franchises by opening a studio in Vancouver. Rainbow Six Siege just got a small but important update. The game's Vulkan version now has nvidia reflex. This cuts the system latency by up to 30% in Siege, giving you a minor but measurable advantage. If you're already getting 200 or 300 FPS in Siege, that 30% isn't going to be a night and day difference, but it might be in a different game. If you're playing at around 60 to 120 FPS, it's the difference of a few frames every second. That could give you a big advantage in snap decision moments like peeking a corner or landing a critical headshot. Unfortunately, reflex is limited to players with nvidia GPUs. Leaks are suggesting Valve are working on two separate VR games following in the footsteps of Half-Life Alyx. The first one we've known about for some time, called Citadel. It's a VR RTS game where players are both the commander and the units, but a new game marked as HLVR/HLX has been found in recent updates for other Valve games. HLX sounds like a sequel to Half-Life Alyx. All of Alyx's mechanics are present in the new game, but expanded or improved on. Valve hasn't officially said anything about a direct sequel to Alyx other than they're excited to do more Half-Life games because it did so well. Half-Life Alyx could be a sequel, it could be DLC, it could even be a remaster of Alyx with improved controls. We really don't know. A new World War II FPS published by Gaijin Entertainment called Enlisted goes live for everyone on April 8th. It blends the hardcore aspects of games like Hell Let Loose and Verdun with more casual gameplay mechanics. Initial impressions of the closed beta have been positive, and the difference in production value between Enlisted and comparable titles is pretty night and day. It's no Battlefield 1 to be clear, but it still has a lot going for it visually. Valorant's latest update makes some balanced tweaks to Viper and Yoru. Viper's tweaks are more of a buff, while Yoru's are a slight nerf. The big story is the implementation of head-related transfer function audio, or HRTF for short. This is a common method of presenting 3D audio in games. CSGO is probably the most notable example of games that utilize HRTF. In a nutshell, it tries to simulate the human head's shape and size to create a more realistic and immersive audio experience. The initial implementation in Valorant is limited to footsteps, reloads, and deathmatch respawn sounds. So no gunfire or ability sounds yet. You can toggle it on in the settings to test it for yourself. Once it's fully implemented, it should dramatically improve the precision of Valorant's 3D sound. Players caught cheating in the upcoming co-op looter shooter Outriders will be permanently branded. Cheaters will only be able to matchmake against other cheaters, and they'll have a watermark on their screen calling them out for cheating. To restore access to public matchmaking and remove the watermark, cheaters will have to wipe their entire account clean. That means deleting your character, items, and progression. Since the game is co-op and not PvP based, it sounds like cheating will be more tolerated than what other games do. But I think it's safe to say anything malicious will eventually get you banned forever. Tactical third-person shooter Rogue Company is now available on the PS5. It supports 4K rendering up to 120 FPS. The next-gen upgrade is free for existing PlayStation 4 players, and all progress carries over to the next-gen version should you buy a PlayStation 5. The game is currently in open beta, but it's pretty well polished and packs a ton of content to dig through. Before we get to our final story today, just a quick reminder that we post breaking news updates and short gaming news videos on Twitter, TikTok, and a dedicated LevelCap Shorts channel. Check them out if you're in a hurry but want to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Colt Hit 13 is currently free to own on GOG.com. The game originally launched in 2003, and while it did okay at the time, it's developed a dedicated following over the years. Late last year, a remaster by Studio Play Magic was released to overwhelmingly negative reviews. While updates have improved the game since then, it's still recommended to try the original game out first. Aside from a few issues, it's held up remarkably well thanks to its cel-shaded art style and simplistic design. And that wraps it up for Today in Gaming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.